The training deck of the Galactic Defense Academy buzzed with nervous energy as cadets from 17 different worlds gathered for their monthly combat assessment. Among them stood Zara Chen, the sole human representative in her class, her modest 5'6" frame dwarfed by the towering forms of her alien classmates. At the center of the crowd loomed Krextar, a draconian elite, whose obsidian scales gleamed under the artificial lights. Standing nearly 8 feet tall with razor-sharp claws and muscles that rippled like liquid steel, he was the undisputed champion of the Academy's combat program. His species had dominated galactic warfare for millennia, and Krextar never let anyone forget it. "Look what crawled out of the primitive sector," Krextar's voice rumbled through his translator, his serpentine eyes fixed on Zara. "The little mammal thinks she can train alongside real warriors." The other cadets shifted uncomfortably. Everyone knew about the tension between Krextar and the human cadet. For months, he had made her life miserable, accidentally knocking her down in corridors, sabotaging her equipment, and publicly humiliating her during training exercises. The instructors, mostly non-human themselves, seemed to view it as natural selection in action. Zara remained motionless, her dark eyes studying the draconian with an intensity that made some of the other cadets step back. She had learned long ago that emotional reactions only fueled bullies like Krextar. "Today, we settle this properly," Krextar announced, his forked tongue flicking out to taste the air. "I challenge the human to single combat. Let's see how Earth's finest performs against superior genetics." A murmur rippled through the assembled cadets. Official challenges were serious business at the academy they were binding, witnessed affairs that could determine a cadet's entire career trajectory. Refusing a challenge was grounds for immediate expulsion. Commander Thale, a crystalline being from the prism worlds, materialized at the edge of the training circle. Her faceted body caught and refracted the light as she spoke. "Cadet Chen, do you accept this challenge?" Zara stepped forward, her movements fluid and controlled. "I accept." Krextar's laugh was like grinding stone. "Excellent. When I'm finished with you, human, they'll have to scrape what's left off the deck." The combat circle activated, energy barriers rising to contain the fight. Standard Academy rules applied. No weapons, no killing, victory achieved through submission or incapacitation. Medical drones hovered nearby, ready to intervene if necessary. Krextar wasted no time with ceremony. He launched himself across the circle, his massive form moving with surprising speed. His claws extended, aiming to overwhelm the human with sheer force and intimidation, the same tactic that had served him well against every other opponent. What happened next defied every expectation. As Krextar's first swipe cut through the air where Zara's head had been, she was no longer there. She had dropped low and rolled, not away from the attack, but directly toward her opponent's legs. Before the draconian could adjust his stance, Zara's shoulder connected with the back of his knee. The laws of physics are universal. Leverage, momentum, and anatomy work the same way regardless of species. Krextar's massive frame, moving forward at full speed, suddenly found its primary support removed. His momentum carried him forward while his legs buckled backward. The elite alien warrior crashed to the deck with a sound like a building falling down. But Zara wasn't finished. As Krextar fell, she flowed like water around his body, her movements precise and economical. Her arms snaked around his thick neck, applying pressure to nerve clusters that existed in most bipedal species. Her legs wrapped around his torso, controlling his center of gravity and preventing him from using his superior strength to break free. Krextar thrashed wildly, his claws scraping against the deck as he tried to dislodge the human. But anatomy was against him. His powerful arms, designed for forward strikes, couldn't reach the small figure attached to his back. His massive legs, built for charging, found no purchase on the smooth training deck. In less than 10 seconds, Krextar's thrashing weakened. In 15, his movements became sluggish. At 20 seconds, his body went limp as controlled pressure to his nerve clusters temporarily shut down his motor functions. The training deck fell silent, except for the soft hum of the energy barriers. Zara released her hold and stood smoothly, not even breathing hard. Crackstar lay unconscious on the deck, his massive form looking strangely vulnerable in defeat. Commander Thale's crystalline voice cut through the silence. Victory to Cadet Chen. Medical team, attend to Cadet Crackstar. As the medical drones moved in, the other cadets stared at Zara with new respect and not a little fear. The quiet human who had endured months of abuse had just dismantled their most feared classmate in under half a minute. "How?" whispered Vex, a tentacled cephaloid cadet. Zara straightened her uniform and met the gazes of her classmates. "On Earth, we have a saying, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog." Crackstar assumed that superior genetics meant automatic victory. He forgot that sometimes the best weapon isn't strength or size, it's knowledge, patience, and the willingness to use your opponent's advantages against them. She looked down at the unconscious draconian. Besides, humans have been fighting creatures bigger and stronger than ourselves since we lived in caves. We got very good at it. As Zara walked toward the exit, her fellow cadets parted respectfully. The human had proven something important that day, that in the galaxy's endless conflicts, it wasn't always the biggest predator who survived. Sometimes, it was the one who understood that every strength could become a weakness, given the right leverage. Crackstar would recover from his physical defeat, but his reputation as an unstoppable force was finished forever. And Zara Chen, the quiet human cadet, had earned something far more valuable than victory. She had earned respect.